Craziest version of this story is that they genetically engineered us out of lower primates and put us here to mine gold.
Imagine discovering a skeleton so unusual that scientists couldn't determine whether it even belonged to a human being. A skeleton hidden away in museum storage for decades. A skeleton connected to one of the most mysterious names in ancient history. A skeleton that, according to scattered reports, may possess anatomical features never seen in any known species. And if those reports are true, then everything we think we know about the origins of civilization may need to be rewritten. This is the story of Meskalamdug, the Sumerian king whose bones don't match any known species. The skeleton, hidden from history. For nearly 60 years, a little-known skeleton has reportedly remained hidden from public attention. It was catalogued as burial number PG789 and associated with a ruler known as Meskalamdug. Today, the remains are said to be stored within the Iraqi National Museum. Yet despite decades of archaeological research, very few people have ever heard of them. And the reasons why are where this mystery begins. To understand the significance of these bones, we first need to understand the strange world they came from. The ancient Sumerians left behind one of the oldest historical records ever discovered, a document known as the Sumerian King List. At first glance, it appears to be a simple record of rulers and dynasties. But the deeper researchers looked, the stranger it became. The document divides history into two distinct eras: the world before a catastrophic flood and the world after it. The kings listed before the flood were said to reign for impossibly long periods of time, hundreds, sometimes thousands, of years. One of those rulers was Meskalamdug. According to certain interpretations connected to ancient king traditions, he ruled for approximately 324 years. Not 34, not 44, 324. To modern historians, such numbers are usually dismissed as symbolic, but ancient Mesopotamian texts repeatedly describe these early kings as fundamentally different from ordinary humans. And that's where the story becomes difficult to ignore, because when archaeologists allegedly uncovered the tomb associated with Meskalamdug, they found something unlike any other royal burial in the region. The tomb was located deeper than surrounding royal graves. Its construction appeared unusually sophisticated. Massive stone blocks were fitted together with extraordinary precision. Certain architectural techniques seemed centuries ahead of their supposed time. Even more intriguing were inscriptions discovered within the chamber. Some researchers noted symbols that appeared older than conventional cuneiform writing, a script that did not comfortably fit established categories, as if it represented an earlier system of communication now lost to history. But the greatest mystery wasn't the tomb itself. It was what waited inside, the 8-foot mystery. When the burial chamber was opened, archaeologists reportedly found the skeleton seated upright, not laid flat, not positioned according to known Sumerian funerary customs. Seated, facing east, directly toward the point where the sun rises during the spring equinox. Its hands were arranged in what some researchers described as a ceremonial or divine gesture. Around the skeleton lay artifacts that created even more questions. Objects allegedly containing metal compositions that shouldn't have existed during the Bronze Age. Fragments reportedly showing traces of chromium and titanium. Advanced glazed ceramics displaying crystalline structures far beyond what archaeologists expected to find. Certain tools appeared to bear marks resembling precision machining. The deeper investigators looked, the stranger the burial became. Then they examined the skeleton itself, and that's when everything changed. According to reports attributed to early examinations, the skeleton's reconstructed height approached 240 centimeters, nearly 8 feet tall. At first glance, that might sound like simple gigantism, but researchers allegedly found something far more unusual. The proportions were wrong. In cases of human gigantism, bones grow larger while maintaining familiar anatomical relationships. This skeleton didn't follow those rules. The femur to tibia ratio differed significantly from normal human proportions. The skull was unusually large. Its estimated cranial capacity reportedly reached around 1,900 cubic centimeters. For comparison, the average modern human skull contains approximately 1,300 to 1,400 cubic centimeters. Even Neanderthals rarely exceeded these measurements. Yet the anomalies continued. Bone density measurements reportedly showed values roughly 30% higher than average human skeletal material. The bones appeared unusually robust, exceptionally resistant to compression, almost as if they had evolved under entirely different biological pressures. At this point, researchers could have dismissed one or two abnormalities as statistical outliers, but the skeleton kept presenting new surprises, and together, they formed a pattern. What was Meskalamdug? The spine reportedly contained 6 lumbar vertebrae instead of the usual 5. The rib cage possessed 13 pairs of ribs instead of 12. The pelvis displayed unusual proportions, suggesting different movement mechanics. Some anthropologists noted that the overall structure implied a gait, unlike that of modern humans. Individually, any one of these features might be explained away, but collectively, they painted a disturbing picture. A body that looked human, yet not entirely human. A body that appeared to belong to something related to us, but different, very different. And according to scattered references, experts struggled to determine exactly what they were looking at. When the remains were reportedly examined by specialists connected to institutions including the British Museum, classification became a major problem. Internal discussions allegedly revealed significant uncertainty. Researchers could not comfortably place the specimen within known human populations, nor could they confidently identify it as any recognized extinct hominin. Some discussions reportedly suggested consulting specialists familiar with ancient human relatives. Others questioned whether the remains represented an extreme genetic anomaly. Yet, despite years of examination, no major scientific publication ever emerged. No definitive conclusion. No comprehensive study, no public explanation. The skeleton simply faded into obscurity, stored, catalogued, forgotten, or perhaps intentionally ignored, because acknowledging what these bones might represent would create an enormous problem. If the skeleton does not belong to Homo sapiens, then what does it belong to? The implications are staggering. It would mean another intelligent species existed alongside humanity in ancient Mesopotamia, a species capable of building cities, creating advanced engineering, establishing kingship, and perhaps teaching early civilizations skills that transformed the ancient world. Suddenly, stories dismissed as mythology begin to look different. Ancient Sumerian texts describe powerful beings called the Anunnaki, entities said to descend from the heavens and rule as kings. Most scholars interpret these accounts symbolically, but what if they weren't entirely symbolic? What if the stories preserved fragments of historical memory, memories distorted through thousands of years, yet rooted in something real, something physical, something buried beneath the sands of Mesopotamia? The DNA results that vanished. Then came perhaps the most controversial claim of all. In 2015, rumors began circulating about a conference presentation involving DNA extracted from an ancient Mesopotamian bone sample. The presentation was never formally published, its results were never independently verified, and no peer-reviewed paper followed. Yet according to leaked descriptions, the findings were extraordinary. Researchers allegedly encountered genetic markers that matched no known human lineage. The reported Y chromosome patterns did not align with recognized haplogroups. The mitochondrial sequences failed to correspond with modern humans, Neanderthals, or Denisovans. Even more shocking were claims that portions of the nuclear DNA appeared fundamentally inconsistent with known human chromosomal arrangements. If true, such findings would suggest something astonishing. Not merely an unknown population, not merely a lost branch of humanity. The researchers went silent. No follow-up studies appeared, no replication attempts were announced, no public explanations were offered. The story simply disappeared, just like the skeleton itself. Of course, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And today, why not perform advanced DNA sequencing? Why not CT scanning? Why not isotopic testing? The official explanation often involves preservation concerns. Whether that's true remains impossible to verify. Again and again, controversial evidence appears. Perhaps Meskalamdug's skeleton is simply an unusual human burial. Perhaps every anomaly has a mundane explanation. That is entirely possible. But there is another possibility. A possibility that ancient myths preserve fragments of forgotten history. A possibility that civilizations' origins are far stranger than we imagine, and that traces of their existence still remain hidden in museum storage rooms for someone willing to look. Because until the bones are examined with modern technology, one question remains unanswered. Who or what was Meskalamdug, and why do the stories surrounding his remains refuse to disappear? Perhaps the most disturbing mystery is not what the skeleton reveals. If the Meskalamdug skeleton truly exists as described, then one of the biggest questions in human history remains unanswered. Was it simply an unusual human burial, or evidence of something far stranger? Until modern testing is allowed, the mystery endures. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.